Welcome to the Power Your Voice podcast, brother. It's so good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I really do. It's
You're
amazing.
welcome. So, who is Donaldo? Who are you at your core?
At my core, I am definitely passionate about my causes. One of those causes is definitely HIV and AIDS awareness. I'm an advocate for that, and especially within the LGBTQ community, as well as I'm a makeup artist as well. So I bring beauty, that inner beauty and that outer beauty out in everyone.
So, what got you specifically in HIV and AIDS? Like, did something happen to a friend of yours, or what exactly happened?
It
How'd you
was more
come?
so it was being affected by those around me and seeing the repercussions of what's going on as far as actually not knowing and those who knew, because it's two different battles going on, from the mental issues as well as from the mental issues from those knowing, because that takes a toll on you knowing that you have this disease, as well as those who don't know and finding out in the later terms when physically it has taken a toll on their body.
Now,
So,
okay, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, no. Well, what I was going to ask you, because I know when people are not educated about AIDS, people are very scared. So it's
Mhm.
like, how do you think you can break that stigma? Because some people who don't have any friends with AIDS, they've never met anybody who has AIDS. If they met somebody who's like, "Hi, my name is so and so, I have AIDS," they're like, they don't even want
Right.
to touch the person, they don't want to shake their hand, and they don't realize you're not going to get AIDS by shaking a person's hand.
Exactly. Exactly. So to answer your question, how to break that stigma is more so educating them and letting them know the facts about it and how to contract it, how it's passed on. And what people fail to realize is, like, with HIV as well as AIDS in today's, with the scientific research that's been going on, it's no longer a death sentence. You go on to live a normal life as long as you're on your medication. You can't even, and if you're, and one thing that has now been discovered is the fact that if you're on medication and you are undetectable, you can't even pass it on to someone, because that virus is not even, it is suppressed to the point
Yeah.
where it's not even there, so to speak. You're the carrier of the HIV virus, so you can go on and live that healthy life.
Yeah, well, I remember I think I saw like a billboard. I went to something that CDC professor I had at school, and they were mentioning there's a new drug that people can take who have AIDS. And I guess the way it works is you can't give it to somebody. I don't know exactly how it works.
Right, depending on your cocktail, because everyone's on a different cocktail. And with that being said, it gets to the point, what the goal is of that cocktail is to get it to the point where you are considered undetectable. And with that, the transmission of AIDS the transmission of the HIV virus, excuse me, is not going to occur as long as you stay within that undetectable range.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with that? Is that like you get tested every so often and they check to see how detectable you are?
Right, depending on your doctor, because everyone gets tested, whether it's every 3 months, every 6 months, or once a year,
Okay.
depending on where you are with your walk with the disease. So it just varies. But once you go get tested and get the blood work done, then when the results come back, the doctor will look at your numbers, whether it's your CD4s, and let you know where you stand, which CD4s are your viral loads.
That's definitely a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Now, is that working in any way where like longevity of a person's life? Because like what you just mentioned, depression, that kind of thing for people who has AIDS, HIV. Unfortunately, their body's slowly breaking down. Is there anything that they're working on right now that's actually helping with that?
Well, with anything else, like with anyone, you want to eat healthy, you want to stay fit, that's going to help counteract anything that's going on within your body, and help prolong your life. Yes, you could take your medication, yes, and it will definitely prolong your life, but why not add to that? Even if you don't have the virus, why not add to your lifespan by eating more healthy and having a more a better mental healthy state, and in regards to that, working out or having some type of exercise regime in your life during the week.
Yeah, well, I'm sure a lot of people use this example as Magic Johnson.
Hmm.
Everybody knows Magic Johnson.
Exactly.
And if you look at him, I mean, of course, he has a lot of money, so he's able to afford the healthier lifestyle, the best doctors, and all that kind of stuff. Now, do you have any idea what are some of the things that he might be doing that other people could do as well?
I don't know him to say that, okay, he does this that anyone else is not doing, but with the same time, he's very vocal on a healthy lifestyle. Yes, he might afford the luxury of finances, but at the same time, with the doctors that are treating the infectious disease doctors of today that are treating your everyday normal person, we have the same access to the same medication that he has, and with that being said, even with your insurance, if your insurance doesn't cover the full cost of the medication, Gilead, who is the supplier of the medication, gives you a supplement card to make up that difference. So you come out zero pocket or whatever your normal copay is for your prescription medication.
That's good because I'm sure some of that stuff's not cheap by any
Oh
means.
no, those medications can range anywhere from like 3 to 5,000 a month without insurance. And that's just for a 30-day supply. So with that being said, if you can't afford the luxury of the finances, you can work out in your home, do push-ups, sit-ups, go for a walk, go for a jog. That's all considered exercise. Whatever you are, do as much as you can physically, whatever your physical limitations allow you to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's always ways that you can, I mean, not only exercise and eating right, but also having that good positive mindset makes a big difference.
Exactly. And surrounding yourself with, if you don't have that support group within your inner circle, whether it's a fear of sharing that with someone else or sharing it with those in your circle or your loved ones, get into a support group, where those people are going through that. And you'll see people in different walks of life, in different facets of where they are with dealing with it, from a mental state, and that's very important. That is so highly important.
Now, what would you say to somebody who might be listening to this and they just found out they have AIDS, or maybe a best friend has AIDS, somebody that they love and care about, and honestly, they're just scared shitless? What advice would you give to that person?
My first advice, if they were diagnosed with HIV, is definitely to let them know that it's not a life sentence. It's not a death sentence, excuse me. And with that, I would tell them, stay in contact with your physician, stay diligent with your medication, and with that, talk with someone. If you need help, talk with someone, whether it's a close friend, a family member, or a physician, a support group, because that's the important thing. Because once you start to suppress things and hold things in, that's when the stress is going to build up, and it's going to start taking a toll on you, not only mentally, physically, and as well as, they can reach out to myself, because I have a lot of people who reach out to me, who I don't even know, I've never met, but we formed that bond where I will be able to help you with some resources, or able to help you, to encourage you in your everyday walk, because that's important. You have to have that support.
Very much so. Now, how about people who find out that somebody that they know? Because that's the thing. Some of us, you get uncomfortable. Somebody tells you something like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to give the wrong advice. So people just kind of, I'm not going to talk about this because this makes me uncomfortable. But you love this person that you just found out has this. Like, what can this person do to help support their friend?
I would say, since it is kind of foreign to that person, I would say get online, do your research, find out about as much as you can about it. And with you gaining that knowledge and finding out about HIV or AIDS, it empowers you to empower them. So you're not speaking false information or saying the wrong thing, or you're not feeling uncomfortable, like, oh my gosh, am I going to get it? Or how can I contract it if I drink behind them, or if I eat off the same plate? All these stigmas are out there, So if you educate yourself, with that comes empowerment. And that's going to help your loved ones, because if you truly do love them, you're going to do everything within your power to find out how to help them the correct way.
I love that.
And by helping yourself, you're going to help them.
Yeah, no, I love that. And especially just think about it. If you have somebody who you really love and care about, and you find different ways that you can help support them, like just imagine how beautiful that relationship is going to be, because they're going to know that you really, really care about them so much.
Exactly. Because it's not so much looking for that advice, or that they're looking for a space of love, of love, where they're coming to this person, because it takes a lot for someone who is HIV positive, or even if they've been diagnosed with AIDS, to come to someone that they love and share that with them. That takes a lot of courage, because you don't know how that person is going to react to you, you know? Because in my walk, I've discovered that when you do have HIV or AIDS and you tell someone, they look at you different versus if you tell them, oh, I have cancer. All of a sudden it's a different mindset, because for the most part, society has looked at cancer more so like a cuddling thing, where, okay, this person needs to be cuddled, versus HIV and AIDS is more so, okay, they need to be shunned. We're making that shift, of course, you know, in our society, versus when HIV and AIDS first came on the forefront. There's a lot of advancements. There's a lot of people who do know, but at the same time, there's a lot of stigma that's still out there.
Very so much. Yeah, because the big thing too, I think, is with cancer, people like nobody wants cancer. You can't blame
Right.
somebody for cancer, but with AIDS, people are like, well, it's your fault. You shouldn't have been having a bunch of partners. You shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have done that. But a lot of times people don't realize maybe they were with somebody who didn't know they had it, and that's the reason why they got it. They were an honest person. Maybe they got a blood transfusion and they somehow got it that way. There's so many different things you don't really know. And we are not the person to judge them and say, well, it's your fault. No, it's
Exactly.
no one's fault.
Exactly. And then, especially if you're sexually active, whether you have one partner or multiple partners, whatever your case may be, testing is so imperative, because I've come across a lot of females, and when we have open dialogue, I'll ask them, are you using any type of protection or anything? They're like, well, I'm on the pill. Okay. So are you being tested for HIV or AIDS, or any STDs? No, I'm fine. I'm on the pill. No, that's only stopping you from pregnancy.
Yeah.
There's so much more to that, especially with these single women, or even married women, whatever the case may be. It's a thing of self-preservation. Your body's all you have. And yes, you will ideally, you will want your partner to put all your trust in your partner. Of course, this is your partner. But at the same time, this is your body. This belongs to you, and you should want to protect it and make sure that everything's okay. When you go get your physicals, talk to your doctor about that. Can I get a test? Can I be tested? There's nothing wrong with that. It's not disrespecting your significant other. It's just making sure that you're okay.
Yeah, and your partner will greatly respect you.
Exactly.
It's like, hey,
Exactly.
just so you know, I just got tested. I'm clean. I mean, they're like, wow, thank you for doing it. You really love me that much that you want to make sure that I'm safe too. I mean, that's great.
Right. Exactly. It's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. I'm protecting myself and I'm protecting you.
Now, I want to ask you a question. Throughout your childhood and all your experiences, what has really transformed you into the beautiful person you are? Because you're a very loving guy, very, very much so. I've met you years ago, and you've always, it's really nice when you go into a room and there's a person there and you can just sense that people want to be around that person. You really are that person.
Oh,
But I'm sure you've been through a lot of life experiences throughout your life that has really shifted you into that person. Like what are some experiences that really turn you to who you are?
um, I've always placed myself, it sounds cliche, but I've always placed myself into that person's shoes. I've always, when someone talks to me, I've always been that ear and can empathize with what they're going through. And it's like, I always just, I'm just there to in this world, I've always believed that we're here for each other, you know, and with that, whether it's giving you an encouraging word or just listening and not saying anything, or just being on the phone while you scream and yell just because you want to get it out and I'm just in silence, I'm going to do that. And it's, I'm going to do for you what I'm looking for myself, what I see in other people, you know, and with the different circumstances in my life, from death to um, even the happy times, it's like those feelings in my journey led me to who I am today. Because without that, I wouldn't be who I am, you know. And it's not so much a separation, because I find that so many people are so, yes, it's good for self-love, it's good to be self-worth and all of that. Yes, invest in self, but at the same time, with that investment, you should be willing to share it.
Yes.
You know, and that's where my character has been built on, you know, and that stems from my upbringing. You know, if I have it, you have it. You know, back in the day, can I borrow, you knocked on the neighbor's door, can I borrow a cup of sugar? Yes, I have the sugar. Now it never happens. You know, your neighbor could, your next door neighbor could very well, their kids could not have clothes or could not have food to eat, but yet you have a bags and bags and bags of clothes for donation and a pantry full of food, but you're willing to give it to this organization. But your next door neighbor, because you never talk to them,
Yeah.
and they're never open with you to say, hey, my child doesn't have a coat, you know? Or you can see that you're driving down the street to work and there you pass a bus stop and all these kids have coat, but that one child doesn't. Okay, there's something going on. But we're so quick to be about self that we never look at the next person. And I've never been that type. It's like, I want to know, how can I help you? Whether
Where'd you get that from though? Like when you were a kid, was your experience maybe when you were like 6 or 8 years old, mom or dad or brother or friend, somebody you saw that they were this very loving, caring person, and they just always were someone who would help and support somebody, and you saw that and you're like, wow, this is how I should be.
it was my family upbringing, growing up in Panama. I came from a small town where it was like, we actually washed clothes in the lake. We actually went and took a shower in the river, you know? And with that, we were there helping each other. You know, my food is your food. So that was always instilled with me growing up, you know, and moving here to the US. It put me, I still carry that with me. It's in my DNA.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
Washing
Yeah.
clothes in the river. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. We took showers. We took our baths in the river. We washed our clothes in the lake. We had an outhouse. We went to the pump to get water. You know, that's how I grew up.
And how long did you live in Panama?
I lived in Panama. I left Panama when I was 15.
Okay. You were there for
Yeah.
a long time.
I was there for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you come here, it's like
It's a culture shock.
overwhelming. Yeah. You don't
It
have
was,
to do really anything yourself. Everything's automatic.
yes, it's a culture shock here. Yeah. And I'm not saying all of Panama is like that. Of course not. You know, because it's modernized as well, you know. But it's like, as I got older, and my dad, because my dad left and he went into the military, so he would send back money to us, and you know, it helped our family, you know. So it's like sending money back to the family, you know. And it's just, we progressed, you know. And the majority of my family, 90% of my family, is still in Panama.
Really? They're still
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, they're still there.
I hope you
Yeah.
get to see them.
Not as often as I want to, of course, but yes, yes, I miss them terribly.
So, a question I want to ask you. So, you are really an incredible makeup artist. I
Thank
mean,
you.
you know that.
Yeah.
What experiences did you go through to become one? What made you choose this field in particular?
Color has always been in my life. When I was a child, my mother would always give me coloring books. and she was an artist as well, but not a makeup artist, but she did like ceramics. So she was always painting. And with that, she would give me a coloring book, teach me how to shade, how to color, how to blend colors. And so I've always, instead of asking for toys, I always wanted coloring books. You know, I got toys, of course, not play with toys, but coloring books was like my favorite. And it just transitioned over onto humans, you know, onto the face. And what's the interesting thing is with makeup artistry, is like I start to become a therapist to the person in my chair, where our spirits connect and they start telling me about they're going through something, whether it's chemo or they're going through a divorce or they have self-esteem issues or I'm not as beautiful as you think I am, you know? And even with men, where men are like, okay, I'm having issues with my skin and I can't talk about it because I don't want you to think is all these facets and layers of insecurities within people. And I was like, okay, God, this is truly the purpose behind me doing this makeup artistry, where I'm stripping someone down naked to their bare skin and leaving them exposed in front of me
Yeah.
and vulnerable, where their imperfections that they only see, I now see, you know. And it's a space of growth and it's a space of connecting and a space of empowerment, where I'm allowed to now empower this person in front of me, male or female, to be a better them. And I use that platform to encourage and to strengthen and to have our spirits connect. And I love that. I love that because I see it more than makeup artistry.
Now, being a makeup artist, you're a guy.
Yes.
The majority of makeup artists are women. So how's your experience, do you think it is, being a guy doing it? And for guys who might be listening to it, hey, I want to be a makeup artist, but I'm so worried about what my mom and my dad think of me, and they're gonna think whatever, and that's the reason why I'm not gonna do it. Because there are some people who unfortunately don't do something that they would probably be so passionate about and absolutely love it, but they don't do it because they're worried about what their mom and dad think. And this is your life. You need to live your life, not worry about your parents. But what kind of advice would you give for that type of person?
To keep moving on, to keep doing what you want to do. Because yes, it is your life, like you said, but at the same time, when you kind of like shelve it, whatever that burning feeling is inside, whenever you shelve it and suppress it, it's still there. And it's going to always be there. And you have to fuel that desire, because we're all created to live authentically. Whatever that authentic part of you is, you have to fuel it. That's why you were created. And to allow another human to diminish that light within you that was given to you is it's a disservice to that. It's a disservice to your gift that you received, and that gift keeps giving. So my thing will be is to strengthen yourself and to go after whatever you authentically desire, to go for it, because that is going to make you achieve your goals a lot better, because you have that drive behind it, versus I'm going to go for a goal that somebody else has for me or thinks that I need to go for. You're not going to put 100% behind it because there's no desire behind that, because it's truly not who you are. So go for your goals, go for your dreams, and do it, because you're going to gain so much reward every time you pick up that brush, every time you make a woman beautiful and she starts to cry, or every time you encourage that man to be a better him and to take care of himself, and to let him know it's okay to take care of yourself because you're a man. It's okay. And they look at you and you see them receiving that. That's the reward, because you have now inspired that person to go forth in their life with more confidence. So go, please don't stop because somebody wants you to. No.
Yeah, well, and the beautiful thing is like you love talking to people, you love helping people, you love supporting people. And as a makeup artist, you get to sit there and make this person beautiful. And as you said, it's like some people probably just break down in tears because like, oh my gosh, for the first time in their life, they feel so beautiful. And
Right.
you get to help create that. You get to bring it out of that person. And it's like for you, I mean, yeah, you get paid to do what you do, but for you, I'm sure it's not even work because you're getting paid to do something you absolutely love, and you probably would do it for free because you just love it so much.
And I have done it for free. I have done it for free, definitely. It's you start somewhere, and here's my thing when it comes with anything that you do in life, and whatever your goal may be, or whatever your dream job or dream career is, the finances come after. You have to it has to fuel you first. It has to fuel your passion. That tank needs to get filled first. And then everything else will come. It's overflow. Everything else is overflow. Because the universe, God, whatever your higher power may be, gave that to you. And they're going to pour into that. Your higher power is going to pour into that first. And then everything else is overflow. Your cup runneth over.
That's a
And the
beautiful.
finances is the overflow.
Yeah,
You know,
because in today's society, some people they just chase after the dollar.
exactly.
They don't really
Exactly.
love what they do. They just got to make money, got to make money, got to make money.
Right. And it's the way we're programmed. And I understand that bills are due. You have a certain lifestyle that you have to maintain or that you're looking for. And I understand that. I too have chased the dollar and I found discouragement and I found stop signs and obstacles that I couldn't break because of that. But once I stood back and I was like, and I asked myself, Donaldo, what is it? Why are you not fueling your passion? Why are you not going and chasing that? And once I started and it clicked, and once that happened and I made that transition, then everything else opens up. My life opens up, where that's where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. It just so happened that makeup artistry led me there, but it was always there, you know?
Now, how did you with makeup? Like, did you do like internship when you first got started? Like, how did you really break into the industry? For someone might be listening, and they're like, well, I like makeup, but I don't know where do I go?
One of my neighbors, actually, here we go back to the neighbor. She asked me, she was like, because I had just moved back to Atlanta, and she was like, "Have you considered makeup artistry?" And I was like, "Well, I color. I love color." And she was like, "I'm going to show you a little things. I'm going to introduce you to makeup." So we sat down on the bed, and she broke it down. This is a concealer. This is a foundation. You do this. Use this finger for that. She broke down the ABCs,
Wow.
right? And at that time, she was working with Benefit Cosmetics. And she was like, Benefit Cosmetics has a position available. You need to go for it. And I was like, really? She goes, go for it. She goes, you can do it. I went, interviewed, did the hands on, got the job. And I was working at a counter in the mall at Macy's, and that's how I got started in makeup artistry. And ever since then, I've just absorbed everything like a sponge because I was now in my element more so than what I thought. It was like, oh my God, a whole new world opens up. And I just ran with it. I just took everything in. Advice from my coworkers who were working for other makeup lines. I was touching, feeling, smelling everything from every counter that there was in that cosmetic department. I wanted to know everything that there was to know, and that's how it all began. And it just snowballed from there. It snowballed from there, talking to people, networking. What do you do? What photographer or anything? Can I assist you? Can you take me with you on this photo shoot? And I just want to watch. I don't have to get paid. I just want to watch. This is my knowledge. This is priceless. That's what I'm going to take with me. And that's how I just started building and building. And within there, it formed a network. And here I am today.
You love it, get passionate about it.
Yeah, I am. I am. It's an amazing craft. It's an amazing thing to be able to transform someone. And it's an amazing thing also, not to only transform them on the outside, but transform them on the inside. You know, and
Now,
I just
now for someone who's listening, they're like, okay, I'm going to get married or I'm going to do a photo shoot. What makes a good what makes a makeup artist a good makeup artist? Like if you are looking for a makeup artist, what are some things that you would recommend that they look for in a makeup artist?
since you brought up weddings, let's talk about that. With I would say to look for makeup artists where their makeup is timeless. You don't want to look back 20 years from now and your makeup look trendy when you got married, because the trends shift and change constantly. So I would say for a woman who's getting married, start researching makeup artists who's, when you can look at their work, is timeless, meaning you don't know when it was taken. It could be taken 30 years ago. It could have been taken 10 years ago, but it's still relevant today, especially a wedding. You don't want that. You don't want it to look dated, you know, and I would definitely recommend that. And with anything, depending on what you're looking for, what project you're working on, or what photo shoot you're looking at, you look for a makeup artist that's going to be cohesive with what creative design you're going towards or with what image you're going towards. And that's how I recommend it versus just picking, oh, their makeup looks good. But yes, there's different genres of makeup artistry.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because that's the thing. You could have somebody who's really a good wedding makeup artist. Like for
Hmm.
weddings, you got to hire them. They're great. But when it comes to like fashion, no, it's not the thing. Because one thing that's really good about you, you're amazing, very natural looking. Some makeup artists, just to be honest, they just put on too much makeup, and you can literally
Hmm.
see it. You want to enhance a person's beauty, but it still looks natural. Like you kind of can tell that they're wearing makeup, but you're not exactly sure.
Exactly. Exactly. And like going into makeup artistry, when I started to find my niche in it, I had to think to myself, which lane do I want to go in when it came to makeup artistry and which facet I want to go through. And mine was high fashion. So I chose that because I was looking at the Vogues and the Marie Claires and the L's, and I was looking at their covers, and I was looking at those makeup artists, and I mimicked my work after that, and I used them as inspiration. So it translated into when I started doing my photo shoots, because that's the route I want to go in. But then that could be a route that somebody else doesn't want to go in. So just find your niche, because there's a lane for everyone.
Yeah, so I guess what you kind of would say to somebody who's a makeup artist who wants to get in makeup, if you want to do fashion, start studying all these fashion magazines, the high-end ones. If you want to do
Exactly.
weddings, go to the store, buy wedding magazines and study that.
Exactly. And then look at the covers and look at the adverts that are in those magazines. And these are the makeup artists that those brands are looking for. So you'll know how to market yourself effectively, you know, because you cannot want to be a wedding, do makeup specifically for weddings, and your makeup looks avant-garde. And then you send it in, they're not going to hire you. So definitely find your niche. Yes, you could be able to do all of them, of course, but at the same time, you want to find your lane so therefore you can flourish in that. And this will be your point of difference.
Now, would you recommend, okay, hey, I want to get in makeup. Where should I start? Should a person go to a makeup corner, say at Macy's, or work at a makeup store, or should they do an internship under a makeup artist? You know, what might be the better route to go through? Because there's, you know, you've gone through all these different experiences, but there might be some that might be more effective.
I found that, and with someone coming in new, I always recommend them to go to a counter. The reason being is because you're going to come across an array of different skin tones, different skin issues. And with that, it's like you're in a lab. You're going to have so many different people coming towards you that anything, once you get onto a set, you'll be fine because you've worked with that type of skin before.
That's good.
You know, so I definitely highly recommend doing a counter. you know, and with that same time, when you're at the counter, you're exposed to various different cosmetic brands. So you'll know what a Chanel carries, or you'll know what a Becca has, you know, or what have you. And you start knowing the points of difference in textures and different cosmetic brands. So you'll know, okay, I know what to do this with this type of skin now. Oh, I know if I go over here to this counter, I can use that on this client because it will be better for her or his skin. You know, so I definitely recommend a counter because that is definitely like a lab. It is definitely a lab.
Now, what's some advice that you give to, because women, a lot of women wear makeup, but the makeup you buy at the store that's really cheap, costs a couple of dollars. Some of this stuff's toxic. Some of it can mess up your skin, and it can actually cause some women to wear probably maybe more makeup.
Mm-hmm.
So why should people who invest in makeup, why should they buy the better brands? Like, what's the difference, would you say? Because you've used a lot of different products, I'm sure, throughout your entire career. There are probably some brands you'd recommend more, but why? Well, like, what's the difference between like a premium makeup?
The research behind it, definitely the research and the investment dollars behind that versus more lesser brands. But also one thing that a lot of women fail to realize is you have to take care of your skin first. So I always tell a woman to invest more in skincare
Okay.
than they do in their cosmetics. Because if your skin doesn't look right, your makeup will never look right. You know, so definitely invest more into your skincare. See an esthetician, see your dermatologist, buy skincare, be diligent about it. And then with your makeup, it'll transfer over onto the skin better and translate so much better.
Yeah,
You know?
that's a very good point, because the thing is, makeup is really to enhance your beauty. It's
Exactly.
not to cover up beauty. Because, for example, you might have someone who has severe acne, so they wear a lot of makeup so you can't see the acne, but that's not helping the acne. Go down, deep down, fix the issues that you have, and then with the makeup, use it to enhance your beauty and make you more
Exactly.
beautiful.
Well said. Exactly. Exactly.
Very good point. I love that.
Yes.
Now, you are big into the LGBT community. Now, there are some parents, and especially, with your father, maybe you have a person they haven't came out yet, and they want to tell their, especially military father or their mom and dad, and they're so worried about what people think of them. Should they come out? Should they not come out? How should they do this? Because I mean, for some people, sometimes we create these stories in our head, like, if I tell people exactly how I feel, people are going to disown me, people are not going to love me. And then maybe they do, and it's like, we love you anyways. And you're like, damn, why didn't I do this before? It wasn't so hard. Like, what advice would you give to the parents and the children and all that?
Um, we'll start off with the parents. My advice to the parent will be to always have an open line of communication with your child. You know, a lot of parents put that age factor on, like, oh, he or she, they're not old enough to understand, or they're not old enough to talk about it yet. You know, you have to be transparent with your child so your child feels like you're a safe zone. You know, and when your child comes out to you, and if they don't come out to you, but whatever the case may be there to be receptive, be there to let them know that most of all that you do love them and you're here to support them and that you are their parent and they are their child. Nothing has changed. You know, my love for you has not changed or shifted nor diminished. You know, that would be my advice from a parent, and to guide your child now into a different light in regards to maybe this is going to open up the sex talk if you never had it. And if you did have the sex talk, now it has to be shifted and still talked about, but the protection, and now you have to talk to your doctor and, okay, are you sexually active? Yes, no, you know, and realize it's not a phase. You know, your child is coming to you because this is how he or she feels. The same way you have feelings, your child has feelings as well. You know, the age doesn't matter. Feelings are feelings. We're human. And from a child's perspective, or my advice for a child is whether you choose to come out or not, that's up to you. It's what's comfortable for you, you know? And yes, it's going to be a frightening thing. Yes, it's a scary thing, because I went through that and I understand that. But it's also with me coming to my parents to let them know it was very liberating, but at the same time, it was frightful, because I didn't know what was going to be said or done to me, you know. But it's once again being authentically who you are. But if you don't want to share that, that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong, because I find that everyone says, like, in society, oh, I have a gay friend or I have a lesbian friend, but they don't say, oh, I have a straight friend.
Yeah.
So, oh, this is my straight friend, John. This is my straight friend, Mary.
Yeah.
Is why is that even attached to it? Why is my sexual preference the first thing you hear about me? No, let's talk about Donaldo, the character. This is my great friend, Donaldo, or this is my lousy friend, Donaldo. At least something, come on, and I think that's what fuels that fright behind it, or that fear behind quote unquote coming out, and to me, that stigma of, oh, this is my gay friend, this is my lesbian friend, has to end as well. Because no, this is a human, because I don't introduce you as this is my straight friend. So why am I being introduced as, oh, this is my gay friend? It's kind of like a separation. You're separate than me, and that has to end as well.
Yeah. How do you break that cycle? Because sometimes there are people who, unfortunately, if you tell them, hey, I'm gay, they're like, I can't be friends with you. Because it's like, being in the fashion industry, you're with a very diverse mix with people, which is absolutely beautiful, and it really helps make you become a lot more open-minded, because you all these stereotypes you learn as a kid, you're like, this is just it doesn't exist. But how do you break that? Because some people who are straight, because of the way their parents are, like, well, oh, this person is gay, okay, that means that they like me or they're attracted to me. No, just like a person who's straight or gay, they're attracted to certain types of people. How do you break that cycle? How do you end that?
I find that when I'm dealing with a heterosexual male or even a heterosexual female, whatever the case may be, I'm just me. I don't talk about my sexuality.
Okay.
You can assume it. You can see it. Whatever judgment you come to. But I'm going to show you who I am as a person. I'm going to show you Donaldo, and if that person approaches me or asks me, yeah, I am. And if they choose to tell me, oh, well, I can't hang with you, or, oh, I hope you don't want me sexually. No, I have options just like you do. And my sexuality has nothing to do with me wanting you, because you may not even be my type.
Exactly.
Actually, and just because I'm a gay man doesn't mean that I want to have sex with every man out there. And in regards to, oh, this is my gay friend and how do I break that stigma, I corrected at the spot. I'm like, no, you need to stop saying that, because it's disrespecting me. That's how I feel. It may not disrespect your other friends, but I find it disrespectful to myself. And that's how I break that stigma. And I explain to them why I feel it's disrespectful, so that they understand this is why I feel disrespected, versus just saying you're disrespecting me. Because once again, I'm here to give you knowledge, not to condemn you.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good point, because unfortunately, a lot of these stigmas and these stereotypes that people have, it's because their childhood, their mom and dad experienced something, and they kind of put this belief on, these people are like this, they're all like that. Or you watch TV and, oh, everybody who looks like this is this way. But that's not the case. I mean, you really have to get down and know the person is who they really are. And then
Exactly.
all that stuff, it doesn't really matter, because I mean, deep down inside, we just want to be happy. We just want to love people. We want to be loved. I mean, that's really all it really matters.
Right. Right. That's all that really matters. Everyone just wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be loved. But at the same time, people have to realize, or I'm going to put myself in there, we have to realize what we're asking for, we have to be willing to give. And a lot of people are not willing to give the love that they're looking for. But you have to give in order to receive.
Yeah, definitely do. Core question I want to ask you. So,
Okay.
do you think sexual orientation is sometimes affected by our childhood, or do you really think that a person is born, let's say, gay?
I really can't judge that.
Okay.
Some of us are born that way. Some of us, life circumstances has taken it that way, where unfortunately through molestation or rape, whatever the case may be, you've finding a way of acceptance through it. I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that. I just feel that when you get to the point to know what you're attracted to sexually, then yes, because there's, just like with the heterosexual life, there's certain circumstances in life that, bring you to who you are today. And there's a lot of baggage that we all carry, and it's more so where my walk is now. If you tell me you're gay and you tell me that you're born this way, more power to you. If you tell me that you're gay and you didn't think you were, but then you got molested, but you're now gay, and then you just continued on to have sex with the same sex because of that. Okay, and if you're happy, yes, but at the same time, if you're happy today, yes, that's fine. But at the same time, my next question to you is, have you now looked back onto that moment and worked through that moment to realize that that molestation was not your fault? Or have you just suppressed it? Because that issue, or that moment in time when that happened, is carrying on to the way you deal with relationships, whether it's a sexual relationship, whether it's an intimate relationship, or even if it's a friendship. They're all relationships, and you're looking and searching for different things in order to complete yourself versus looking from within and dealing with all that ugliness that's on the inside, So I can't answer that, to be honest with you, in regards to, are you born this way, or were you made into this way? I can't answer that.
Yeah,
Really
I think it's so incredibly important just to be true to yourself. Like, for example, I have a friend of mine, when he was a kid, he was molested. So now he says he's gay,
can't.
but because of family and all that kind of stuff, he pretends that he's not. He'll date women. He actually has a child with a woman because he doesn't want his mom and dad to know. So he's basically living this lifestyle because this is how mommy and daddy want me to be, but he's
Mhm.
not really being true to himself, you know.
Exactly.
And we shouldn't live a life where, and it's not to judge anybody,
No,
but
no.
you got to be yourself. Like, if this is who you are, be that. Don't try to be something not to please other people, because deep down inside, you're just not being true to yourself, and you're not, how
Right.
happy you're really going to be if you're living a life that's a lie.
Right. Right. Because I find that a lot of people live this double life because of the fear of losing that foundation that they have. But what they have to realize is that they themselves are that foundation of their life. And they have to stand on their own foundation versus standing on the foundation of their loved ones. Whatever the case may be, whatever your fear of losing that. And I have to respect their walk, because I can't force you to go to your parents and say, this is who I am, out of the fear of whatever you have. I can't force you, but the only thing I can tell you is try to live as authentically as you can, because life is short. And you want to be happy, you want to be loved, you want to live who you were intended to be, not what somebody else intended for you to be.
Yeah, life is so much easier when you're just yourself and you're not trying to be
Exactly.
something you're not. Because eventually, and that's a big thing we have on social media. A lot of times people just post pictures because they're always happy. People don't post the pictures of them having a bad day.
No.
But, is that who you really, really are deep down inside?
Right.
You have to live an authentic life.
Definitely.
So if you'd go back to, let's say, when you were, I don't know, 16 years old, is there anything you would do different in your life?
Um, yeah, I would have. Um, I wouldn't say I regret anything. I wish I had the knowledge and the power to be who I really deep down inside wanted to be. Because at 16, I was more so living for others, living to make my parents happy, living to make my teachers happy, living to make my friends happy, versus doing what I wanted to do. And I would go back and talk to my 16-year-old me and tell the 16-year-old Donaldo, look at yourself. Look at the power you have. Look at the strength you have. Be you. Because that's all you truly can be is you. So I would definitely go back and change that.
Yeah, because as teenagers, especially, teenage years are rough. We're always about
Yeah.
pleasing everybody else, but then inside, we're just not really happy.
At all. At all. At all.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about becoming an adult. You get to a point where it's like, I don't even care anymore.
Hmm.
Just surround yourself with people you absolutely love and they support you and they uplift you and they want you to be a better person. Like, if all your friends want you to be the best Donaldo, to become rich and successful and just to be happy, I mean, that's great. I mean, those are the people you have to support yourself with, people who uplift you, not bring you down.
Exactly. Exactly. And people who are truly there for you in regards to your well being versus them being there because they want something from you. No, the only thing you should want from me is my energy and my love. That's it. Truly. you know? Truly.
I mean, that's all that really matters.
Definitely. Hmm. It really does.
So, what are you most proud of? Like all the things that you've accomplished throughout your life. Like, what are like three things that just you're so proud of yourself for?
Um, I'm proud of myself for surviving. I'm proud of myself for uplifting others. And I'm proud of myself for truly finding the true meaning of the word love. I'm proud of those things because those are things that I had to fight for. And it's now mine. And it cannot be taken away because I found that strength within myself, and I'm proud of that. I'm really proud of looking into myself for happiness. I'm proud of looking into myself for love. And it's an amazing, amazing feeling, truly.
So, for you, what is like the true definition of happiness?
The true definition of happiness is waking up, looking at myself in the mirror and saying, okay, you may not have got it right. You made a couple mistakes. Go back in, fix it. Go back in, bring that those butterflies inside of you because you accomplished a goal, whether it's getting out of bed on time or something major where I went after. There's small goals and big goals, and I have my struggles like everyone else. And that makes me happy when working on my struggles make me happy because it lets me know I'm growing. And that to me is a true definition of happiness, where you can sit back and be content and be like, okay, I did that. I did that. Not for anybody else, but I did it for me. And now I can go forth and conquer something else. That's happiness.
I love that because, yeah, interviewing people, I realize, when you're young, you ask a lot of young people, what is that definition of happiness? Oh, fame and fortune, having lots of money. But it's like, you can always make money. You can always get a nicer house or a car. But once you get that stuff, are you really, really happy?
Right.
If your relationships suck, if you have no if you don't have any real true friendships, is all that money and all that fortune and all that stuff, is that really going to make you happy? No.
No. And it goes on to, and we all have different aspirations. Someone might want a little cottage house in the country somewhere, and someone might want the big lavish mansion on the beach. Whatever your case may be. But at the same time, that should not be what you're aiming for. Yes, I would love to live a certain way. But in the interim, for me to get there, I'm going to make sure that this right here, the house that is with me 24 hours a day, is being built on secure foundation. And I have to make sure that this foundation is strong before I can stand on a man-made foundation. You know? Because
Yeah,
once I'm there in that big house or that beautiful fancy car, or my bank account is sitting on how many figures, however I feel is my idea of success, this right here is still not up to par. You know? So take care of this first.
yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if this is not healthy, all this other stuff is not really, all the superficial stuff would not truly bring you happy. Because I always used to think, because I grew up very poor, we never had any money. And I always thought, hey, if I have all these nice things, I'm going to be happy.
Right.
First car I ever bought was like a really nice, expensive car. And truly, that car did not make me happier. Because after a while, after a couple months, I was like, meh, I got a car.
Yeah.
But it really doesn't bring you happiness. If deep down inside you're a miserable person, you have to work on that. You have to work on your inner self in order to really, truly be happy and be grateful
You
for
do.
everything that you have.
You do. You do. You have to go back to basics. Truly. The basics in life. You have to go back to it and nourish that. You truly do.
Just thinking about a couple of things. There's always so many questions.
I know, right?
What leadership, because you're definitely a leader. What does leadership mean to you?
Leadership means being able to, whatever you require someone to do, you're willing to do it yourself. Get down in the mud in the trenches. That's a leader. And being able to lead from behind, it's a leader. You know? And it's able to do the work, do the grunt work with your team. That's leadership, because I look for that in my leaders. You know, I look for that in the leaders that lead me. I want to make sure that you're able to do what you're asking me to do. I want you here next to me. Lead me from being right here. Lead me back my side. And that is my true definition of leadership.
Yeah, leadership support is very important. And my experience is, as we get older, more of us, we step into it. It's like, I'm sure when you first got into being a makeup artist and we're working at the counter, you know, when you're young and someone's like, who's the leader here? We look left and right and, okay, we don't want to say, I'm the leader.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's scary, because when you're a leader, there's a big word and it's called responsibility.
Exactly.
A lot of us, we blame everybody else, but we don't want to take responsibility. But, you know, we all make mistakes, and it's okay to say, hey, you know, I made a mistake. Hey, I made a mistake today. I forgot to adjust the thing to be able to hear you. Made a mistake. But making mistakes is not a bad thing, because we can all learn through them, you know?
Exactly.
It's okay to say, hey, I made a mistake. A lot of times we get so scared and like, people are not going to like me because I made a mistake. No.
No.
You just have to own it and say, hey, you know, I apologize.
Right. I made a mistake. Sorry. Let's move on. Right.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure you've made mistakes with makeup, probably.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
What what are three things you love for somebody to take away from this podcast?
The three things I would love for someone to take away is to live authentically for you. I would also love for someone to take away to truly get tested. Don't be afraid and to get tested because at the end of the day, you have to take care of you. And the third thing I would say is to give love and receive love. Those will be the three things I would say. Definitely my takeaways.
And yeah, it's very important with love. You have to love yourself.
Oh, by all means, yes. By all means. You have to love yourself. But in order to learn to love yourself, you have to deal with that ugly grit that's inside of you. You have to clean it out because that's loving yourself is cleaning out.
All the trash. Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to realize that you deserve to be loved because that's the thing. Like, just to be honest, last year I was like, a lot of times we people ask you like, do you love yourself? You're like, yeah, of course I love myself. But deep down inside, do you really, really love yourself? And some of
Hmm.
us we don't. And it's
That's
like,
true.
well, yeah, last year I was like, yeah, I love myself, but I was like, wow, I didn't realize that I had some self-love issues and literally broke down in tears like, wow, oh my gosh. Because when you really love yourself for who you really are and you're true to yourself, it really allows you to share your love with other people.
Definitely, definitely. And with reflection, like you said that you did, like I look back and as I grow and I'm like, oh wow, maybe I didn't love myself as much as I thought I did, but that's a good thing in regards to I'm recognizing the areas where I need to pour more love into myself, and like you said, there's moments where I too will sit down and break down and cry. And it's like, okay, yes, I've cried, I've let it out. And now let me pour into that area that I'm finding that I'm not loving myself enough, you know? And if I could say this too, because we're speaking of love, because I've come across a lot of people who do have HIV and AIDS, and they're single, and they feel like they're not going to ever find someone because of this. And I just want to, as a takeaway as well, Janos, I just want them to know that there is someone who's going to love you unconditionally and love you for who you are, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So don't lose hope in that, thinking that you'll never have children or you'll never have that family or you'll never have that person to love you, because you will. You will. Just know that and take care of you in the meantime and strengthen yourself in the meantime and give that love to others, and someone's going to be receptive of that love and want more of it, and they know that source is going to come from you.
Absolutely. It's very important too, is also you have to put yourself out there because some people, they're so scared of getting in a relationship, they kind of push everyone away.
Hmm.
And
Right.
that doesn't help. It's like you might meet somebody and this could literally be your soulmate, but if you're pushing them away, you're not allowing that person to love you. And
Right.
everybody deserves to be loved. Everybody deserves to be in a relationship if they want to be in one.
Correct. 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 That is so true. And if a relationship is your journey, you have to be willing to remove that baggage of your past experiences that you've had with someone else, because you can't have that person standing in front of you held accountable for what others have done to you. It's a clean slate every time you meet someone,
It is, yeah.
and you have to be willing with that clean slate. You have to be willing to clean out that baggage and take a little bit out, take a shirt out a day. You don't have to dump the whole luggage out, but take a shirt out a day. And before you know it, that suitcase is empty and move it out the closet. You know, you have to do that. You have to, because you're doing yourself a disservice. You truly are.
Now,
You truly are.
one last question, because I'm sure you've been interviewed and you talk to a lot of people, especially in the chair. What's what's like one question that people have never asked you that you wish somebody would have asked you about?
Oh wow, that's a good question. Oh, whether in what regards to makeup artistry
Anything,
or
anything.
um, oh my god, oh my god, Yana, you put me on the spot. Oh my god.
You know, like for example, I mean, you know, you're not in Hollywood on the red carpet, but I'm sure there are people, you know, you get interviewed a lot, and people you wish you kind of think this is the questions that they're going to ask me, but you're like, I wish they would have asked me that question, but you didn't have enough time. So, I mean, it could be something AIDS, it could have something to do with being a makeup artist. I mean, it could be anything about childhood, anything, something that you wish someone would have asked you that could really help impact a person's life. Like a question that you know people need to be asked, and you have this answer that you can provide for a lot of people that it could literally change your life, something that they need to hear, something that you wish somebody may have asked you when you were younger, or whatever, however that might look like.
Um, if anything, I was like, oh God, I don't know, Yana. I
It's
don't
okay. You
know.
don't have to know.
Oh my God, I don't know. I really don't know. Oh my God. Now
So,
I'm gonna have to go back and think about this. Like, I wanna have to think about this.
okay, so we're about to go, but what's one last thing you really want to hit home and really have for people to take away? So something that's very, very powerful that you want people to know.
That you're unique, that whatever burning desire that you have within you, to go after that and to truly authentically be yourself. Don't let anything or anyone discourage you. You may not feel that you've arrived, or you may feel that that journey and there's too many obstacles, but know that that burning desire that you have, that gift that was given to you from the higher power, is way bigger than whatever stands before you. And at the end of that is a beautiful light of happiness and sunshine. And know that if you look to the person to the left, to the right of you, everyone is going either in a storm, they're in the storm, or they're coming out of a storm. And that you're truly not alone. And it's a cycle that we all are in. You're going in the storm, you're in the storm, or you're coming out of the storm. You know, and just know, just the same way you saw that light at the end and you were okay after that last storm that you were in, the one that you're currently in is going to be okay as well. It may not look like it, but it is.
Very true. It reminds me of like a revolving door. It's raining outside, you go inside, and then you're like, just before you go inside, you're like right there in the middle. So you're between the two. This is beautiful. This is rainy, and now I'm right in the middle. And you just have to keep on turning and go straight.
Exactly. You just have to keep moving. You just have to
So,
keep moving.
so Donaldo, how can people reach out to you? How can they find you on social media, Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff?
On Instagram is Experience Donaldo, EXPERIENCE Donaldo. And on Facebook is Donaldo Taylor. And definitely reach out to me.
And for anybody who's listening, they're like, hey, I want to hire you for a photo shoot, or their photographer or something. Is there a certain website that they could go that they could book you on or anything?
Yes, definitely. You could book me for either makeup artistry or for motivational speaking or any speaking engagements, or speaking at support groups for HIV and AIDS. You can reach me and book me at bookdonaldo@gmail.com.
All right, sweet. Thank you so much. I love you.
I love you too. I love you as well.